video in programming in C++. So in this video, we're going to discuss about the main things that you need to know before you start programming in C++, and the first program that many people uh, run before they start going deeply into the concepts that are involved when you are programming in C++. So for now, let's start discussing about the few concepts that you need to know before you start your codes. And the first thing is you have to know that the C++ language is a compiled language. You might be new to C++ programming, or maybe you have been programming in a different language, not rather than C++. For example, you might have been programming in Java, you must have been programming in C, you might have been programming in Python. So you just need to know the key differences between these languages and how they are used interdependently. They also depend on each other. There are some other things that you can carry out. There are some other operations you can carry out in Java, but you can't do them in C++. And there are some other concepts you can do in C++, but you can't do in Java. So you also have to know that C++ is a compiled language. What do you mean by compiled language? Is that it is first compiled by a compiler into a machine code before it is run or executed by a CPU. Right, so now let's learn our first C++ program, and let's see how it occurs when you are using a Visual Studio. Okay, so if you've already installed all the necessary tools in your computers, you open the Visual Studio Code, and after opening the Visual Studio Code, you go to on File, you create a new file. After creating a new file, you select the language. In this case, we're using C++, and after selecting C++, then the window like this one pop up on your computer. So how do you start? So the first step, before you start everything, you have to include the header files, so, or processor directives, and we're going to discuss them much more in detail when you go into the other chapters. So just for now, just know that you include the processor directives in your program. All right, so in this case, I'm going to include IOStream. You include IOStream, and don't forget the hash symbol, hash. All right, after that, you are going to create a namespace that you're going to use in your program. So you stay using namespace std. Std is a standard library in C++. So we're using the namespace for the standard library that is implemented in C++. All right, so you are going to write the return type of your main function. In this case, we're using int. So int main, then you're going to open the braces. Inside there, you're going to say cout hello world. So this is your mostly the first program that is written by many people who are just starting to code. All right, so then you terminate, you put a terminator, you're going to save it. So in this case, you say hello.cpp. You save, then you open the terminal. After opening the new terminal, that means you have to navigate to the folder in which, or the directory in which you've saved your file. So in this case, I'm going to navigate to the desktop. So I'm going to change my directory to desktop. And then I have to compile my program. So I'm going to say g++ hello.cpp. All right, the program is now compiling. So it has finished compiling. So after that, I'm going to say I'm going to compile. I'm going to run it, execute it. Wow. So that's it. That's how you can write hello world in C++.